What's up guys, Erroneous here with another Raid Shadow Legends video. In today's video I'm going to be going over the UGIR, the Worm Eater Fragment Collection Champion, and whether or not I will be going for him and whether or not you should be going for him as well. So let's get into it. Alright y'all, so we do have UGIR up here and it's regarding to the Fragment event calendar. So we've got first Spiders tournament going on. We've also got Classic Arena going on. Tomorrow it starts for Classic Arena, as you can see right here. And then we've also got what we can do, I call a triple dip. So I don't think this happens very often where you can triple dip like this. It does happen once in a while, but it doesn't always happen. So Spider Tournament is coinciding with Dungeon Divers and Champion Training, so you should be able to do Spider Tournament and try to farm food. That is extremely important. Let me just go ahead and showcase to you my Spider team really quickly. I do have a two-man team, and of course there's multiple different variations. You could do a three-man team as well if you have to, or even a four-man team, as long as you're farming food at the same time. I do recommend stage 20 still, if you're trying to farm as quickly as possible. This is a 7-second team. Sometimes it goes a little bit further because I don't have Savage gear on my Newt. But if you don't have Newt and you don't have Lydia, you could use Feign in place of Lydia, and you can use like a double Cold Heart or maybe even a triple Cold Heart if need be. You probably only need 2 Cold Hearts potentially if the decreased defense and weaken lands. But I would play it safe and go a 3rd Cold Heart if needed. Or you could do a Cold Heart and you could do a Royal Guard, something like that, or HP Burn. You could also potentially use a champion along the lines of, to keep them alive, it would be this guy right here. Where is he at? Miscreated Monster, who places massive shields. Make sure he has good damage so he can place a huge shield on the team. And again, you can place him in there with a decreased defense champion if you don't have a decreased defense and weakened champion, and then have another champion that could help out, and then at least farm 1 food. If you can farm 3 food or even 4 food, because there are solo farmers as well. I just don't have that personally, but there are solo farmers out there. That's even better because you're going to be triple dipping during this initial 3 events. So Spider Tournament, you've got the Dungeon Divers and the Champion Training, and I'm doing okay so far. I will show you where I'm at afterwards. But the biggest thing here that everybody is right now frustrated about is the fact that you can't get additional fragments anywhere other than tournaments. And this is the lowest amount of fragments that you can get possible. This is the lowest amount I've ever seen, I think, out of any fragment summon champion. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments down below, but yeah, there's literally no way. You have to get everything. Plus, they have additional champ training, and that's the one where you can get the additional 10 points right here, which is right above my head. But the issue is as well, there's a summon rush, which starts on Friday, which is tomorrow or today at the time of the posting that I have. Unfortunately, with summon rush, a lot of people just came off of the 1+1 sacreds, and you really need sacreds for summon rush. That's the most points you can get is from sacreds, 500 points a pop, right? Unless you plan on utilizing all of your saved up primals, which I think, if I'm not mistaken, are 200 or 300 points each, something like that. But they're not a lot. They're not a ton. And not a lot of people have a ton of primals saved, right? Because they're extremely hard to come by right now. So without there being a champ chase, you can't skip the summon rush. There's 20 fragments here. They're most likely going to be separated in 2 groups, like a 5 and a 15, or it could be separated in 3 groups potentially, 5, 5, 5, but usually it's a 5 and a 15, or it could be a 10 and a 10, but normally it's 5 and 15. So this is where a lot of people are going to fail this fusion, and myself included. I don't have any sacreds. I tried to go for the 1+1, didn't pull a legendary. Extremely unfortunate. This is a free-to-play account that I'm playing on, so I might not actually be able to get it, potentially, because I'd have to pull all my shards. Artifact enhancements, pretty straightforward. Dungeon Divers, you know, so on and so forth. But yeah, it's just the simple fact that they don't have a champion chase. You have to get exactly the right amount, which is 100 exact. There's no extra where you can pick up anywhere where you could skip an event or tournament. And so that means you're forced to do the summon rush. So if you do not have the sacred saved or just shards saved in general, you will not make it. Okay, so you need to decide whether or not you're going to save for the next upcoming fusion, which would probably be what, closer to the Christmas holiday fusion, unless they do a Thanksgiving fusion at the end of the month. I doubt that. They could end up giving us a couple weeks, of which I hope they do, so we could conserve some energy and resources for the future fusion. But I feel like they could end up doing a fusion before the Christmas fusion potentially. But maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe we actually get a Christmas fusion in December and that's it. Who knows? We'll see. We'll see what happens. Now, in terms of shards for me on this free-to-play account, I've been playing for many years. I have 63 ancients, 17 voids, 12 primals, and 1 sacred. Sacreds are 500 each during the summon rush, but like I said, I would need more sacreds. I personally don't want to spend I don't want to utilize all of my shards here if I can help it. But I mean, I guess it would also depend on how many points each fragment is worth. So if they're separated in 2 separate fragment pieces, then I'm going to assume it's going to be like you get the first one around 1500 or 1100, and then you get the second one around 2500 to 3500. In that case, 3500 means you need at least 7 or 8 sacreds, or you need a ton of ancients. I forget the points thresholds on each shard, so I think it's 20 or 30, maybe even 40 for each ancient pulled. I think it's 20 though. And then voids are 120 or 140. But again, if it's 2x voids, I will pull my voids anyways because I want a void legendary, right? So I'm not going to miss that chance. But in terms of everything else, I don't really want to pull my primals. And this champion is not like super meta or anything like that, or super game changing for my account specifically. So if he's not game changing for your account, then what would be the reasoning behind you going for it and justifying yourself going for this fusion or this fragment champion? So in my eyes, I do want to double dip, triple dip in terms of I'm going to farm dungeon divers, right? I've already got almost 1650. We're at almost 1500 here. You know, we're going to do dungeon divers, I feel like, fairly easily because we do have a 2x on the artifact drop. Okay. And then in terms of champion training, I am farming and doing the 2-man team. So that's why I have 2100 points already with the 2-man team, which is nice. This is a little bit difficult though, of course, because you need to get 8250. For most people, they can do this, especially if you have brews saved up as well. You could utilize your brews, put a few brews into each champion. That's the rank 3, rank 4, and then feed them into the champions before you get them up to rank 4 or rank 5, right? So yeah, I would love to do this and get all the rewards, or at least get to like the immortal soulstone would be nice. Preferably, I'd like to do the whole thing, but I'm kind of dry on resources. The reason being is because I went for that Newt tournament, which recently ended, and where you can get the skin. So I did get the skin, as you saw. So I got the skin for Newt, which is fantastic. I also got second place in the tournament, and I ended up getting a 2-star split soul. Okay, so I was able to get my Newt one more level, which is awesome. He does have Phantom Touch, but I'm considering changing this. I'd use Phantom Touch for Fire Knight. Now, in terms of the events, again, Fusion Warm-Up should have ended. You should have gotten a free Ancient Shard. Prism Crystals means nothing if you're not a spender in the game. If you just get 10, because there's no other place where you can get an additional 20 to pull one, unless you got it in a previous event or something like that. So I don't think there's anywhere else you can actually get Prism Crystals. Definitely not in Tag Team. I completed Tag Team. That's just free rewards, so you should be able to complete Tag Team pretty much no problem. And then Spider Tournament, of course, I'm already almost done with this because I just farmed it today and I had extra energy. The reason why I had extra energy is because of the clan shop. So if you come here, we do have energy for the first time in 3 or 4 weeks, which is ridiculous, right? But I'm happy we got it. I also got another void here, which is nice. And then, of course, you should be making sure you're in your clan quests here. Remember to collect these, get some clan quests going, and get points so that way you can save. So maybe next week, hopefully, if we're lucky, we'll get another bout of energy. So, and then other than that, you've got Doom Tower as well, where you should be farming it on a day-to-day basis. Farm hard, farm normal. I already beat both of the rotations, so I have 5 days left, where now I'm just farming the floors and then farming the secret rooms as well. So if I didn't beat it all, then every 10 rooms, there is usually energy in one of those rooms, or there's gems. So you should be able to take those gems, convert them to energy, or just use those energies for the tournaments and events that are going on for this fusion specifically. Now, in terms of whether or not I'm going to be going for this guy, it all depends on the summon rush. If he's at a reasonable rate where all the fragments, all 20, are around maybe 2,500 points, I may consider going for it, but I'm heavily leaning towards not going for this guy and just simply farming all the events and tournaments that Raid has to offer. No skin off my back, no hair off my back, right? I'm fine with it. I'm okay with just going for all the rewards here because these rewards are actually pretty strong once you get to this portion. A lot of people can't do it, but even so, getting this gold chest is pretty good too. Getting the immortal essence is good as well for anybody's account. I think that these are pretty decent rewards. Dungeon divers, though, on the other hand, meh. They're only good when you get to the end. An ancient shard's okay, but this chest usually drops 100k silver, which is usually crap. So these rewards are not that great, but they're decent. They're kind of below average. But in general, more than likely, I'm not going for this guy. I'm not going to be pushing hard for this guy. If the summon rush turns out to be, just too much, where after I calculate it and it turns out to be like I need 3,500 points and I have to pull all of my shards or potentially my primals for it, it's just not worth it for me on my account because he's not going to be a massive game changer for me, especially when I'm going to be trying to push platinum in the future. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope this helped you out a little bit. And if you're going for him, good luck. And I hope to see you soon. Take care.